On the streets and on the pitch, Blackpool is a football club in crisis. Blackpool is of course famous for many things, for its promenade, its tower and its ballroom, but also for the long and proud history of its football club. The Matthews final of '53 is possibly the most famous in FA Cup history, and their promotion into the Premier League in 2010, one of the most remarkable.
Blackpool Football Club are in the Premier League next season.
Today though, the club is in a mess. Despite its modern ground, performances on the field have gone from bad to worse. The two owners are at war and many fans have had enough.
We want to get the chairman out. We want the club run properly.
The whole team tonight, it's just on one-year loans, one-year loan deals. We don't even have proper players.
He needs to go. No one wants him here. Everybody wants him gone.
Money has long been tight at Bloomfield Road. Owen Oyston, a local businessman, bought a club that was on its knees in 1988. It was the Oyston family's money that kept the club solvent. Even after Owen was jailed for rape in 1996, the family commitment remained. Owen's wife Vicky took temporary charge before in 1999 their son Carl became chairman. Then in 2006 a Latvian businessman, Valeri Belakon, joined the club's board and everything changed. Belakon went on to invest about £7 million into the Seasiders in return for a 20% share, plus a slice of matchday revenue. His cash was pivotal in helping Blackpool gain promotion to the Premier League in 2010, worth a jaw-dropping £90 million. We've been told that over half of that has been spent on players' salaries, more on tax bills. But controversially, much of the money went to companies owned by the Oyston family. In 2012, it was revealed that Blackpool FC had paid a company owned by Owen Oyston £11 million. Carl Oyston claimed it was a tax-efficient way of paying off some of the club's debts. The football club then loaned £27 million to a separate company, also owned by the Oystons. The family say that money has either been invested in the club or remains available to spend, a claim disputed by many fans who've seen their teams slide down the leagues. BBC Radio Lancashire's Blackpool commentator has reported on the club's ups and downs for a quarter of a century.
The promotion, the wonderland of promotion and all it brought should have left a legacy at the club for a generation and maybe more. And what are we now, 5 years on, and what is there left of it?
After just one season in the Premier League, Blackpool just missed out on a return 2 years later. But manager Ian Holloway's departure that same year proved a turning point. In the 3 years that followed, 7 managers have come and gone. But last season, transfer brinkmanship turned to farce, with only a handful of players on the books a fortnight before the opening game. These protests outside Bloomfield Road have been going on for the last couple of seasons, and of course there are different shades of opinion amongst Blackpool supporters, but I think this is another illustration of just how much the relationship between a large section of the supporters and the owners, the Oyston family, have completely broken down. With Carl Oyston often portrayed, sometimes by himself, as the pantomime villain, football's most public fallout became intensely personal. Some fans, desperate for the Oystons to sell up, crossed the line with deeply unpleasant personal abuse aimed at members of their family. Carl Oyston sued and won compensation for comments on internet fans' forums. On the flip side, he was disciplined by the FA and in June was given a 6-week ban and fined £40,000 for sending abusive text messages to a supporter. Nobody from the Oyston family was willing to appear in this film.
They cannot stay here anymore. They must realise that it has gone too far. Owen Oyston has the opportunity now to make thousands of people extremely happy by giving the club over to the fans.
Yet despite the widespread claims of financial mismanagement, the Oystons argue they've actually run the club very sensibly. Blackpool has £15 million in the bank, and the family say that its relationship with other Oyston companies gives it more financial security than almost any other club outside the Premier League. If things were rosier on the pitch, their thinking goes, the most vociferous protests would simply melt away. But the Oystons have another problem, their relationship with Valeri Belokon. All smiles at Wembley in 2010, it wasn't long before Mr. Belokon became unhappy at how the club was being operated. Last month he decided to sue the Oystons, claiming they haven't run Blackpool Football Club in the interests of all shareholders, only themselves. I travelled halfway across Europe to his home city in Latvia to get his side of the story. Valeri Belokon is certainly well known in his home city of Riga. He owns several companies, including an international bank, as well as other businesses in the media, financial and food industries. His wealth is estimated somewhere in the region of £200 million. But even so, why would he use part of that fortune to buy into a club like Blackpool? And what happens now? Well, in an extremely rare television interview, he agreed to talk to me about his plans at his office in the middle of the city.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You obviously know about the inner workings of the club more than most people, and you know about your intentions and the Oyston family's intentions.
Owen has in essence done a lot for the club in over 25 years, and I think what he really wanted was for his son Carl to continue to manage the club, and they would form some kind of dynasty of family members running the club. But it seems that he's taken over the love for money and not for the club.
And do you hope that
Do
you hope, Valeri, that you will be the owner in, let's say, 5 years' time?
I should be honest. I answer you honest. If you ask me, hope. If I hope, I must something do in this case. And I thinking, and now I ask me honest, do я делаю все для этого или нет?
Do I do everything to achieve this or not?
It's a question to me, but я бы хотел.
I would love to.
You mentioned if you were to put in further investments or possibly take over the club, you would like to do that with a local partner. Have you spoken to any potential local partners to do that?
I'm not ready to tell the names, but I have indeed met local partners who, in my opinion, love football. We can work together.
So these are local business people?
Yes.
With serious money?
With enough money, because I don't know what it means serious.
So what might all of this mean? Joris Kazar is a journalist in Riga who's closely followed the career of Valeri Belokon, the businessman. Do you have any sense as to whether he has an ambition to own the club?
He probably wants to own it lock, stock and barrel, not because that may have been his ambition from the beginning, but simply because he has seen that these co-owners are not taking the thing in the same direction. And one of the reasonable things to do in such a case is to act so as to have the co-owners sell out or leave or whatever.
On the other side of the argument, 2 years ago, Valeri Belokon asked the Oystons to pay him £24 million for his 20% share. Judging someone's absolute intentions is extremely difficult, but I think it is fair to say that with documents I've seen, this does appear to represent a significant change of heart. We also understand that a German consortium recently approached Blackpool with a view to a takeover, and according to sources within the club, that fell down because of a lack of communication between Valeri Belakon and the Oyston family. Meanwhile, in July, the Blackpool Supporters Trust launched its own £16 million takeover bid, but with the club's assets valued by the owners at least double that, it went no further.
The situation is extremely distressing now for a great many people. For people who have supported this club for generations, to feel that we no longer even have a team to support properly anymore is just awful.
Positions on all sides have become increasingly entrenched, and with what could be a bitter legal battle between the shareholders going through the courts, it's clear that there's likely to be a lot more pain before this club gets back to some sort of stability.
Evidently there are suitors and backers for various bids for the club, but all of them are contingent on the Oyston family, and particularly Carl, selling the club, and I'm not sure that's in his game plan.
As long as they go, who cares?
He's let it get sold down. Who will buy it? You should let BST buy it.
We've gone from the Premier League and we're going down to the bottom division, and it's got to stop.
Good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely. No. Say it again. Lord. What is it good for? Absolutely. No. Listen to me.